Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Senator Sinclair. Senator Sinclair, thank you very much. Senator Lambert Brown.
President, after that parochial presentation from the councillor from Mobile, I wish to bring us back to a moment where we can celebrate nationally. So I want to start, President, by congratulating the Reggae Boys on their victory last night. I think we should all applaud them. And let's hope that on Tuesday, they can win again. And for the second time, get to the World Cup. Democratic Republic of Congo, you don't know that? So we start there. Secondly, President, you and I hope that the College of Jamaica will prevail tomorrow. He's wearing purple. He's wearing purple.
1 minute.
But
One
he didn't
minute.
go to
1 minute,
KC.
please. Senator Apka Fitzhenley, the man is talking about Jamaica College. He will do so unhindered by any remark from yourself. Go ahead, please.
Worse when he's wearing purple. Worse when he's wearing a purple tie. So, Mr. President, let's start there. By into a sport, and that allowed me to also, from this floor, salute and thank the people and government of Cuba who built for us the GC Foster College. Because it is that college that has allowed us to proliferate sporting coaches throughout many different disciplines and make us a world power in athletics. The Cubans help us there, and they help us in other schools. They help us in health for many years. Misunderstood. President, I was happy when this Prime Minister and yourself attended the funeral of Fidel Castro, who survived 11 presidents of the United States who attempted to kill him, every single one of them. I will never forget, President, the Cubans who sought Jamaica's assistance to allow them to transit to Angola, to stop the apartheidists who wanted to overrun Angola, and then to attack the ANC in South Africa. The Cubans, internationalist fighter. And Jamaica paid a price. We paid a price because Kissinger came here to say we should not allow the Cubans any support. So, clear to me, Nelson Mandela, is he finished yet? Nelson Mandela, that great freedom fighter, his first international visit after coming out of prison and becoming president was to Cuba, because Cuba has been a shining light of internationalism.
About Jamaica. I mean, the parliament.
I have all the time, because imbeciles like Marlon doesn't understand history. Doesn't understand history. And so I want from this parliament to thank our Cuban brothers and sisters for their internationalism and their support. Mr. President, you're right. And I hear the minister commending the teachers for staying. President, at my stage and age, I can claim to be the one person in this chamber who have heard the most budget presentations in the country. You have been out of the country a little bit studying. So I can claim. She also was out. Perfect. So I have been here, and I can say without fear of contradiction that between 62 and now, I have heard the most budget presentation. It's a huge thing. I show respect for it. And what it tells me is that much of the speeches I'm hearing here today, I've heard them before. There's nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1:9. That's what it says. There's nothing new under the sun. No, I've heard it, but you haven't heard my own. So you need to hear my own now. So, Mr. President, I've heard great announcement. I heard great re-announcement. I've even heard greater re-announcements. So let's take some. For many months, for years, in the lobby of this parliament was a miniature presentation of the new parliament. That's fine. I'm not sure you will be either. But, President, as I said to the then chairman of the UDC, Senator Ransford Bryan, that I don't expect that parliament, which was announced, for which groundbreaking took place. I think there was groundbreaking. But there's announcement after announcement. And that new parliament is again being re-announced. That doesn't scare me about all of these announcements and grand announcements. Mr. President, I've heard and debated in this House needs. And who needs is going to do this and do that. All know I can't find it. But pardon me, Chairman, the toxicity Marland can only be matched by the comments of Andre Stevens. I'll leave it to Andre. Yes, I'll leave it to Andre. So let me be clear. These announcements are just that. Most of them will never ever come to fruition under this government. Let's take, for example, this year, 2026. It is the 10th anniversary of some great announcement. And this is what, this is 10? This is what Nigel Clark and the Prime Minister did. 5 in 4. 5 in 4. This is the 10th year of the announcement of 5 in 4. And so if it is 10 years, it is 2 times 5. But we don't have a 2% growth in a single year of those 10 years. In fact, as Senator Anderson pointed out, our average growth has been less than 1% per annum. 5 in 4. 10 years. 10 years. 2 times 5. And you can't even grow the economy 2%. So these announcements you're coming with in this budget leave the people of Jamaica with a lot of doubts. They know it's just a scam and a sham announcement. The proof of the pudding is in the doing. Minister of Education has come in. And I heard a praise of the Morant Bay Urban Center. And Minister, the sewer arrangement is not even in place. It's been fixed. But at the time of the announcement and the ribbon cutting, the point I'm making here is that you are good at making these announcements. But dealing with it is the problem. So when I listen to these presentation from the government, I got the impression that the budget was about two people. One, Andrew Holness. And if you go to answer, the amount of time his name was called. So the budget's about Andrew Holness. Second person is about a girl named Melissa. That's what this budget debate in the Senate this morning has been about. Melissa, blame Melissa, praise Andrew. Two persons. That's all. Blame Melissa, praise Andrew. Mr. President, my name was called a lot. Mr. President, let me address very quickly. Let me deal very quickly with the issue of salary and productivity. Because Senator Duncan, I love and promote productivity. I am on record of signing an agreement with Backside Company called. I never did, but you don't know nothing about it. I never did, but I'm ignoring you. I signed an agreement called Salary and Wage Improvement Productivity Earn, SWIPE. That's nice. I am even more ashamed of you for your ignorance. So, President, I stand for productivity. I tell you a story. A couple years ago, at the Ministry of Finance, and Senator Gill might have been in that meeting. Nigel Clark, the minister, spoke about productivity-related wages. Because a long time that discussion has been going on. I said to Nigel, my friend then, and still is, so Minister, can you show me one country anywhere in the world where productivity-related pay in the public sector has been operated? So we can look at that model. Oh no, we can't get that. And there's a reason. And there's a reason. Because it is easier to talk about productivity-related pay than to implement it. How do you, Minister, for the student? Minister, I'm talking to you now. How do you measure your teachers who have gotten the students who are lowest in the GSAT, as against those who are teaching the high performance from your alma mater? Different measurement. And these are some of the difficulties we face when we talk about productivity-related pay. For example, if you want to talk about crime reduction, Shouldn't you be paying the police much, much more now for their success in reducing crime? But your proposal to them is 2%. So crime don't fall, murder don't 40%. But your proposal to them is 2%. The same as the other person who does not achieve any productivity gain. So it's a difficult subject. Easier for the Prime Minister to talk about. Let's talk a little about productivity, Senator Duncan. What the drill never exists? It's not a drill, you said. Senator Duncan, take a case of a man named Howard Cow, employed to the Ministry of Health, left the job in 2022. And today, sent me a text today, Senator Thompson still can't get him gratuity after 4 years.
The wrong person. Why would you get someone else?
You should have to text anybody. Assistant should.
You don't want to know. I thought you wanted to help. You don't want to know. He has texted everybody in our ministry. And he has now come to me to assist him. That's why he's texting me. And I am making progress against the bureaucracy that is not getting things done. You spoke about your business people, you know. So let me do my talking now. Let me do my talking. Let's talk, it don't matter how much I have. Let's talk about productivity. So, President, because those who want to preach productivity must set productivity as an example. 12th of September, I signed an agreement, and I think Senator Gale signed it. 12th of September 2024, with the Honorable Nigel Clark. And that agreement said that the unions would, by November of 2024, submit their wage claims and complete negotiation by March 25. The unions complied. We submitted our claims. Senator Duncan, up to now, the negotiation that was to be completed by the 31st of March 2025 is still not completed. And the workers in the public sector who are to get their salary increase from last year still have not received it. And the reason for that is a total failing of the Ministry of Finance. It's about the leadership of finance. It is leadership of companies that will gain you productivity. And when our government speaks of lack of productivity, they're admitting a lack of leadership on their part. And so I speak to that. Now, if you want productivity, the unions have already committed to work with you productively. It is the government who is failing. And that is why the Prime Minister can get up Parliament and make big talk. And that's why I say talk is talk. Real action comes when leadership set out to do what is necessary. So I want to make it very clear that the public sector workers are deserving of an increase. And I call upon the Minister of Finance to fast-track negotiation that should have been completed from the first quarter of 2025. Second thing I want to say in respect to that, there are many workers in the public sector who have benefited from the compensation review done in agreement with the unions from 2015 when Peter Phillips signed off for it. But there are workers at the university doing this. And I'm calling on the Ministry of Finance to resolve the compensation issues at the university hospital for the lecturers, Senator Tim, right down to the janitors. And I want to make one other plea that I hope will get attraction here. And it is this. Apart from the University of the West Indies, all other public sector workers have benefited from the compensation review. Today, Senator Gill said MPs, councillors. But I want today to make a plea on behalf of the 16 non-executive senators. I don't care what is the reason, but I believe, and I'm making a call to the minister, as a tribunalist, as a senator, and this is not a party call, that the non-executive senators are the only ones in the parliament who have not benefited from the compensation review. And I'm making a call for the letter of September 2023. For the letter, you getting what? 20 how much million is your pay? 20 how much is your pay? So I am saying here that the 16 non-executive senators, some who have left too, that the principle of 2008, which was contained in the letter from the financial secretary to the clerk of parliament, 2020, should be resent from finance so that the senators, the non-executive senators, which would include Marlon Morgan and Aqua Fitzhenley when they were not in the executive, to receive an adjustment. And I make that plea, President, knowing that the issue is sensitive. But the reality is, work of the center, my friend Senator Sinclair, travels from Montego Bay. Senator Bernard travels from Mobile. Yesterday, we're told electricity rate going up. Transportation costs going up. It's only fair that the non-executive senators should have the adjustment which was proposed. Did I hear my friend say she agree? Good. So, President, as I wrap up in the next few minutes, I want to say that the workers in the public sector who receive duty concession, that the $1.4 billion that the government intends to receive in taxes is not worth squeezing the public sector workers. I'm calling on the government to reinstate the position prior to this budget. I'm calling on the government to reinstate 1.4, President, in the context of 1.3, 1.4 trillion budget is truly chicken feed. That's what they found last year to buy the old school bus. Why squeeze the public sector workers? Why deprive them of the full benefit? And so my call is a restoration. My call is for a restoration of the school bus, of the duty concession to the public sector workers. So I say, Mr. President, if the budget is about people, which is ought to be, then this budget hasn't really connected with the people. The minimum wage workers expected, based on what you did said to them, your manifesto, You prefer me point on you? No, but you are not important. You are not important. She is. She understands that my senator is not meant to be hostile. You understand that, Minister? 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 That one, the minimum wage, Minister. For every increase, the government education tax. But your manifesto, I promise that this year, the minimum wage will go to 18,500 per week. And we're going to blame Melissa now for this paltry $25 an hour increase. What can $25 buy? What it can buy? So I am again asking the cabinet to honor your election promise. You started, Minister, and said, oh, there was the 3rd of September. Yes, there were. There was the 3rd of September. But you know what happened on the 3rd of September? Your side lost 14 seats. And my side gained 14 seats. And so my side. So we also revel in the outcome of the elections. We know that is not a. That's fine. You lost for 4 terms. So as far as we are concerned, this budget let down the minimum wage workers, broken promise. It let down the public sector workers, broken promise. It is not a budget for the people of the country. It's a budget for you to praise the announcement and re-announcement and re-announcement. The people of Jamaica deserves better. For the first time, we have now gotten over the charade and no new taxes. You have had to tax the Jamaican people at the worst time in our history. That, in my view, represents a government that is wicked and uncaring. May it please you, Mr. President.